Hi, I'm Scott, and I'm an American in Bangkok. Today on Ask the American, find out what happens when a foreigner dies in Thailand. Also, what does it take to get a press card and a non-immigrant M media visa? And finally, a woman and her boyfriend decide to live in Thailand but need to find work. What are their options? First question comes from Nate in the United States, and he asks, what happens when a foreigner dies in Thailand? Well, first the Thai police are contacted, and then they contact the embassy of the person who passed away. The embassy then contacts the next of kin, who then makes arrangements either to have the body cremated or buried in Thailand or repatriated back to the United States. Sometimes the insurance company will get involved and they'll handle everything. But if the body is going to be repatriated, then either the family or the insurance company will handle this, and they need to get the body embalmed, and then the body is placed in a zinc-lined coffin, and then it's sent back to the home country. If there is no next of kin, the body is generally taken to a temple where it's cremated. Okay, the next question comes from Sasha in China. Dear Scott, you have mentioned that you had a non-immigrant M visa for journalists. That's a non-immigrant M media visa. I have no press card. How do I get this type of visa, and can I apply for this type of visa without any paperwork? Well, in order to qualify for a non-immigrant M visa, you need to be a legitimate member of the press. What is considered legitimate is determined by the Thai Ministry of Foreign Affairs. The long story short is you need to have a sponsoring publication. All of the company's business information and your qualifications will be submitted to the Ministry of Foreign Affairs, as well as your contract length, how much you're going to earn, and things like this. Once they get all this information, then the Thai Ministry of Foreign Affairs contacts the publication, whether it's printed or online, and finds out what genre of publication it is, what their circulation is, the time that they were established, the editor, and things like this. In the past, you were required to make an appointment with the Ministry of Foreign Affairs and apply in person. Nowadays, though, this is done online. You should give approximately 4 weeks, if possible 6 weeks, to get your visa. Sometimes it does take them quite some time to follow up with everything and to finalize the visa. One time, there were holidays. I submitted my visa. They said, we don't know if it's if you've given us enough time to get this visa done, so be prepared. And I said, okay, fine. And sure enough, it took almost 6 weeks to get my visa. So anyway, the final question comes from Sahar in Pakistan. Dear Scott, my boyfriend and I have decided to live in Thailand. I have an MA in English language and literature, so I have a good command of the English language. Can you help me work with you? No, I can't. I'd rather have my wife and my kids work for me before I have you work for me. No offense. I know I need to find a job before moving to Thailand, which is why I'm asking you to share your experiences with me. I've been looking for work as a teacher, but the schools want native speakers. I browse Craigslist, and the job freelance writer is often available. Can you confirm such a job? Yes. How much does this sort of job usually pay? Does this job need a work permit? Technically, yes, you do need a work permit anytime you're working in the country. Okay. As far as working with me, I'm not an employment agency. I don't want to be an employment agency. I'm more concerned with my family and myself. If I ever need to hire people, I have contacts here already. Generally, I wouldn't hire somebody I don't know just because I don't have to. I'd rather hire somebody that I know. And I know what their qualifications are ahead of time. Also, as far as the schools go, you're going to find that quite often the schools prefer native speakers. That's not to say that you can't get a job. It's entirely possible to land a job even though you're not a native English speaker. So you just have to keep trying. You go to websites like ajan.com, and there's a few others. Go to those websites and just keep pushing and keep trying, and you should be able to land something with your qualifications. With regards to the freelance writing, this is what I've done for quite some time to support myself. I've done ghost writing, freelance writing for websites, freelance writing for magazines. So yes, it's a legitimate way to make a living. I can confirm that. As far as the pay goes, it will depend on who you're working for and what kind of work you're doing and the length of the articles that you're doing. Some people will pay a set rate, as little as $10 or $20, even nothing. Some places don't want to give anything, and there are people willing to write for them for nothing. I personally won't do anything for free. I've told myself in the past that I don't want to write for free anymore at all. So as far as you coming over here as someone who's never been published or who's an inexperienced writer with no clients, you're not working with anybody currently, I wouldn't suggest coming over here and trying to do that. It's very, very difficult, and it takes time to build up a client base and to build up your contacts with magazines and newspapers in order to be able to make a living from it. It just takes time. So, and again, anytime you're working, it doesn't matter what you're doing. Even volunteers are supposed to have work permits, but sometimes the Thai government turns the other cheek. They're lenient. They know that in the case of freelance writers, some people come here, they write for a couple of weeks and they leave. So I mean, what are you going to do? You're going to try to have everybody get a work permit to come here and work for a week or two or a couple of days? It's not possible. So anyway, that is a viable option, but in my experience, when it comes to work in Thailand, it's getting more difficult, especially for people who don't have the right qualifications or don't come from the right country. Pakistan's not exactly the best country in Thailand's view. The people that come from Pakistan are not treated very well in some cases, and yeah. Anyway, that's all for now. Thank you very much for watching. Until next time, chok di la jerkan mai. That's good luck and see you later. Go.
If you like what you just saw, hit subscribe. Also, visit our website at www.anamericanimbangkok.com.